Discussing the topic of road safety. Last time we have covered the road safety audit process, and then we have moved on to the conflict analysis. So what is a conflict? It's a risky interaction between one or more road users, and this risky interaction can be between pedestrian vehicles or only one road user with a road element. For example, there was no other vehicle involved, but there was only one vehicle, and you can see the driver lost control of the vehicle. It went to the other lane and then he gained the control back. This is also risky, but there is no other road user involved, so this is also part of conflict. You will consider the conflict. Okay, so vehicle was going straight and then it went like this. Okay, there was nobody else on the road. It's just a conflict. Okay, so it's a potential accident. Whether there was another road user or not is not the case. Okay, it doesn't matter. So these studies are shorter, okay, and they can provide you more data as compared to crashes. Crashes you may have like one in a week on a highway. Okay, but these in 1 hour you can maybe observe like 100 conflicts. Okay, it can happen. So why do we do conflict studies? We can do conflict studies to find out types of conflicts which are happening on the intersection or on the road, mostly at the intersections. Mostly at the intersections. Conflict studies are mainly done at the intersections, and the reason is, what's the reason? Why more conflict on the intersection? Because of the opposing movements, right? There are conflicting and opposing movements which are happening. So you can do it on the highway as well, no problem. You can do it, but you will not find many conflicts. You will find more conflicts on the intersection because the movements are interacting with each other, which are opposing to each other. Okay. So you can do it on the intersections to know what type of conflicts you have and which one of them is higher, which one of them is lower. Based upon that, you can know the problem. Okay, so most of the conflicts are happening between the vehicles rear end. Okay, one vehicle stops suddenly and the other vehicle has to stop very fast. Okay, so most of the conflicts are this type. So you know what's the problem then. Okay, or most of the conflicts are happening between right turning vehicles and vehicles which are coming from this direction. So based upon the type of conflict which is happening more commonly, you know the type of problem you have. Okay, and is the problem very serious or not? So you can look at the type of conflict and you can know the problem you have. You can use a conflict study to measure the effectiveness of a countermeasure. Okay, a countermeasure is a solution. So there was a problem earlier on the intersection or on the road, and you tried to solve it by doing something new. Now you want to see if that new improvement is effective or not. Okay, so you said, okay, I will provide a speed hump. Maybe the problem is with the speed. I will provide a speed hump. So did it solve the problem? You can do a conflict study to know. You don't have to wait for 6 months to see if the accidents are happening or not. You can do a conflict study right after you have installed the speed hump. Next day you can do a conflict study. In 1 hour you would know whether the problem is solved or not. Okay, so this is a very easy and efficient method. What are the type of conflicts we have? As I already mentioned, mainly at the intersections, and they have already mentioned the type of conflicts. The type is written and the name is written in the figure. You have to zoom in, or you can look into the book as well, which I know you will not, but sorry, what? Father will look. Okay, so you can see how many there are total. How many there are? 14. Okay, so these are possible conflicts, but you may select some of them for your study. You don't have to study all 14 types. You can select maybe 5 types which are very common. Okay, or like I mentioned previously, if you did a countermeasure, The countermeasure is related to speed. So you can select which ones are related to speed and only do the study for them. Okay. In all these pictures you will see there are two vehicles involved, okay, or a vehicle and a pedestrian is involved. Okay. So wherever there is a possibility that two vehicles from different directions can be together at a point, that's a conflict. Or wherever there is a possibility that a pedestrian and a vehicle can be together at a point, that's a conflict point. It will not always be a conflict, but this is the point where a conflict can happen. Okay, so this is a pedestrian crossing, for example, and a vehicle can come at the same time when the pedestrian is trying to cross.
But there is a signal.
Yes. I'm saying it's a conflict point. It may have zero conflicts because of the signal, right? Clear or not?
So where there is no signal.
They are just showing the types of conflicts. Okay, so type is general, right? Then you will remove some of them by putting a signal. Okay, why do we put a signal or roundabout or something like this? We discussed in the previous topic as well. Stop sign or give way sign. They are there to reduce the conflict points. The conflict points are already there. This is like without anything. Then you will see which one of them is creating a problem. Okay, and then you try to reduce them by maybe adding an extra lane, by putting a traffic island, a small median for turning and so on. So all these conflicts are there by default. And then the signal and the stop sign and the lane and the median, they remove these conflicts, but they are there. So these are the possible conflict points, and you may select some of them for your study. Okay, so you can compare between different design alternatives. Okay, what will happen if I don't give a median? What will happen if I give a median? Okay, what will happen if I have a separate turning lane, and what will happen if I don't have a separate turning lane? Happen in terms of conflicts. What will happen to the conflict? What will happen to the safety situation? Okay, so you can do a conflict study, or you can compare between different design alternatives by looking at the possible conflicts with these alternatives. Okay. And you can do a short study before you conduct a full detailed study of your site. So what types of conflicts we have? There were 14 types, right? Total 14. Okay, but there are three main categories. Those 14 are part of these three. Which three? We have diverging, we have merging, we have crossing. We already talked about diverging and merging sections, right? Merging means what? Diverging means what? Exit. Okay, so there are two vehicles and one of them is trying to exit. Okay, so one of them will continue, the other one is trying to exit. So what did I say earlier? Vehicles in two different directions. Okay, because when it will try to exit, it is going in different direction, right? When a vehicle will try to exit, it will go in a different direction. So this will create a conflict. Okay, so diverging is when a vehicle is trying to exit. Merging, entering. The vehicle is trying to enter from a different direction. And crossing is they are both in different directions, but they meet at a point. That's it. Okay. So crossing is this one. This is a crossing. This one, this one. They are already in different directions, right? And they are continuing in different directions. But at a point they will come together. They can come together. Okay. Then we have this one is also crossing. This one is also crossing. Now this one is what? A vehicle is taking left from here and another one is taking right from here. This one is which one? Which type? Merging. Okay. And this one. Two vehicles. One will go straight, another one will take the left turn. Which one is this? Divergent. Okay? And they have given some common points. Okay? But you cannot apply them to all conflicts. These are general. Okay? So for example, diverging points are less problematic. Okay. Like they happen less often. Okay, like they don't create much problem at the intersection. So diverging is maybe because of the confusion of the driver. Like he doesn't know when he should change the lane or something like this. Okay, but it may result in a serious crash. Okay, for the other lane, or maybe he will go and hit the barrier or something. So in this case, it could be dangerous. What is an example? A driver is trying to exit from the roundabout and he is in the wrong lane. Okay. Merging is more prominent. It happens more often, obviously, because you are coming from the other direction, trying to merge here, right? Where's it? Where's the road? Yeah. So these conflicts happen more often, right? Okay. When a vehicle is coming from the other direction in your lane, okay, then this creates a risky situation more often, right? When a vehicle is trying to enter your lane, okay, then it creates a risky situation more often than compared to the other one. Okay, so because then it's a matter of ego, right? How can he come in front of me? I'll not allow him. Okay, so that's why it may result in sideswipe accident. Okay, hitting from the side. Okay, and it is related to poor understanding of the driver. Okay, it could be related to poor design of the road. Okay, or you don't have proper traffic control devices. Okay, so the driver doesn't know his right of way. Okay, then we have crossing. So crossing can be extremely problematic. It happens very often then. Okay, obviously if you don't have any traffic control device, then it will happen very often. Crossing conflicts will happen very commonly because drivers are always going in different directions, right? So they become very frequent, and it can result in angle or left turning opposing collisions. Okay, this type of, this is an angle collision. Okay, or this one, this is an angle collision. Okay, obviously then these are very dangerous. Okay, how can we use conflicts to compare between different options? You have an example over here. Okay, so this is a normal 4-leg intersection, and this one has what? A roundabout. Okay, so you can see in a normal 4-leg intersection, all types of conflicts are open. You have to put a sign or a signal to eliminate them, but by default, all of them are open. You can have merge, you can have diverge, you can have crossing. All of them are open. But when you put a roundabout in the middle of the intersection, you eliminate all of which type? Crossings. All crossings are eliminated from all directions. Okay, so crossings become 0. Okay, and even the merging and diverging is only happening where? In the roundabout. You merge in the roundabout, you diverge from the roundabout. So there are only 2 points at every entrance where this can happen, merge and diverge. Okay, so even the merge and diverge will become less. Okay, clear? So this is how you can compare between different options, but this one is only showing vehicle to vehicle. Obviously you can add the pedestrian to vehicle as well. You can add pedestrian crossings as well here. But if you add them here, then they will be added here as well. Okay, so it's the same, right? For pedestrian it will remain the same. So this is how you can compare between different types. Okay, so let's say we have to find out the number and type of conflicts which are happening at a U-turn median. Okay, so what is happening here? For example, I have to take a left turn. Okay, I am coming from the south side and I have to take a left turn. Okay, this is not allowed. Left turn in this highway is not allowed. On this highway, left turn not allowed. You have to go like how?
Too much time left.
This is happening at your intersection, right?
Yeah.
Salmabad intersection. The left turning is not allowed. Okay, so too much time or whatever. This is it. Okay. Why are you making this? I am not the driver here.
There is no cameras.
Yes, yes, very good. Okay, so you get it? The U-turn median is doing what? It is eliminating these conflicts, the crossing conflicts. And obviously when this left turning vehicle will go to the other side, it will have merging as well, right? So that merging is also gone. Okay. So how do we make the conflict points? First of all, we have to make the directions, the movements of the vehicles. Okay, the movements which I mentioned. So you have this one, and then you have this one, right? Okay. They are both coming from the same lane, right?
Yes.
Okay, they are both coming from the same lane. Okay, so it's a diverge. Okay, and then this guy will go in this direction, okay. And there could be another guy which is coming from here. I made two conflict points. No, no. I made two conflict points. Crossing and merge. Okay, so this is how you make the conflict points. You start making the movements, and you see where the movements are going, separating, or they are crossing, or they are merging. Okay. Now keep one thing in mind. When this happened, from this point onwards, they are not two vehicles now, because they are already merged. They are now one after another. So this is now one. From this point onwards, it will be one vehicle. Got it? Okay. Now one of these vehicles will go straight, and another one can go this direction. Okay. So this is now what? Diverge. Okay. And then this vehicle will come on this side. And there's another one coming from this side, so this one here again merged. And then one vehicle will go straight, and I will take the right turn, so this is diverge. And then this vehicle will go straight, and the vehicle can come from this side, this is merged. Okay, and yeah, then we will have a diverge here as well. Clear? Okay, so you make the movements, and then you will know how many conflict points you have and how many of them are merged or diverged or whatever. Clear? Okay, I did not finish it. Okay, I just did 1, 2, and maybe this side. This side is still left, and this one is also left. Okay, so you can finish it and you can count how many types we have. And they have already done it, so you can check your answers from here. Okay, so this one, the normal four-leg intersection, the one which you already have. Okay, from here, the normal four-leg where all the left turnings are open. Okay, so for this one we already know 8 diverging, 8 merging, and 16 crossing. So the total is 32. Okay, for normal four-leg it is 32. Got it? Okay, it cannot change. It cannot change, right? Because this is as part the geometry of the intersection. It cannot change until you put some signals or something. Okay, and roundabout, how much? 8. Again, because it's due to the roundabout. Okay, so it will not change. So 32 for a normal four-leg intersection where all the left turnings are allowed. If you block the left turnings with U-turn medians, then you will have how many now? 16. Okay, so by blocking the left turnings from the north-south direction, we have reduced 2 diverging conflicts, 2 merging conflicts, and how many? 12 crossing conflicts. Okay, clear? So crossing is the main thing here because crossing happens very often. okay, and it can result in an angular crash, which is dangerous as well. Okay, clear? Okay. Okay. Now for this T intersection, how many vehicle to pedestrian conflicts we can have? Only vehicle to pedestrian.
So previous example without signal,
Which one?
U-turn.
Yeah, we didn't mention signal. Okay, so how many pedestrian conflicts we can have here? Okay, so pedestrian crossing is only on this side. Okay, so only vehicles which are coming to this side or going from this side can have a pedestrian conflict, right? Okay, so I can have a vehicle which is taking a right turn from here, and I can have a vehicle which is taking a left turn from here. Okay, when they reach here, what will happen? They will merge, right? And what do they say after merging? One way. Okay, so this one, okay, and then we can have a vehicle which is going maybe left from here or right from here, right? Okay, so what they will do, they will diverge. Okay, so after diverging, they will become what? Two. So two ahead, two at this one. Okay, clear? Okay, so point number 1 you can see, but for point number 2, point number 2 is the one which is with the merging. Okay, so and this one they are considering it as 1, I believe. Okay, so even for diverging, they are saying until they cross the stop line they are 1. Okay, that's why. Okay. How do we do the conflict studies? So I already mentioned that conflict studies are faster. You can see the conflict or receive or observe a lot of conflicts even in 1 hour, especially if you do it in the peak hours. Okay, and you don't need to have any previous data. You can just go to the site and start doing the conflict study. You don't need to have any previous data. What is the problem on the site? How many accidents we had on the site? It's not important. Okay, you can even do it without this as well. To evaluate the data, to analyze the data, there are 4 methods to analyze conflict data. Once you do a conflict study, there are 4 methods to analyze the data of conflict study. Before and after method, cross-sectional method, reference group method, and the frequency method. Before and after means there are 2 conflict studies. One is done before a change and one is done after a change. Then you compare between them. Okay, how many and what type of conflicts I had before, and how many and what type of conflicts I have after. Okay, but you are doing it for how many sites? One side. Huh? This is one thing. One. Okay, one side. And how many times?
2, maybe 2.
Maybe 7.
7. Like this or like this?
No, like that.
Okay. 8 is this, huh?
Yeah. No.
Huh?
No.
And numbers we know.
Everything's on the
No, numbers we know. Okay. So it is less common. Okay, so it is done if you have made any, if you have done any improvement measures on the site. It is less common because often one of the data is missing. Either the before data is missing or the after data is missing. Okay, so you have to coordinate that the study is done in both times. Okay, and it is shorter because you know the change which you have made. Okay, so this study is much shorter, much focused. Okay, I only made the change on one side. So I'll do the conflict study on one side. I only made the change because there was a problem of merging vehicles. Okay, so I will only look for the conflict which is merging. Okay, and if you solve the problem, even in 5 minutes, you will know that problem is solved. Okay, if there was a problem with merging vehicles, now you put an extra lane, for example. Okay, So is this lane used by the merging vehicles or not? You will know in 2 minutes. Okay, so this study is very easy and very fast in the field. Okay, in cross-sectional study, so you didn't do a before study. You did some changes on your site, but before you made the change, you did not do any conflict study. Okay, so you only have the after data. No before data is available. Okay, so then you can do a cross-section study. So what are we comparing? Our site after and other sites which are still in the before condition. Okay, so for example, I had a roundabout. Okay, on this roundabout, I made an extra traffic island. If you go to the clock tower roundabout, you will see there is an extra lane for right turning. For right turning, you don't need to go into roundabout, right? You can do that right turn from the lane. Okay, so let's say this is the change you made. Okay, so we have other roundabouts where this is not done, right? So we have a roundabout, our roundabout, which has the lane with the median for right turning, and we have other roundabouts where it is not done. So my roundabout is in the after condition, and the other roundabouts are still in the before condition. Okay, so we do a cross-sectional study between my site and the other sites which are in the before condition. Instead of comparing between the same site before and after, I compare between after of my site with the before of the others. Clear? Okay, so this is called a conflict study, and obviously the difference between your site and the other site is the countermeasure you did, the change which you did. Okay, so if the change was successful, then you will see the difference between your and the other sites. Okay, but if it is not successful, the data will be almost same. Then we have the reference group study, which is similar to the cross-section study. Okay, so then you are comparing between the rate of conflicts. So we will discuss conflict rates. So rate means what? When you calculate rate, this rate means what? Rate is a ratio, right?
Yes.
It's a ratio. Okay, so you can calculate the rate of conflict, meaning conflict per something, conflict divided by something, a rate. Okay, so you can make a comparison. Again, you will do the study of multiple sites. Okay, the study is done for multiple sites, and then you try to compare multiple sites of the same nature. They are similar to each other. All the sites are similar to each other. Okay, and then we see if our site is higher than the normal sites or not. Either the conflict rate on our site is higher than the normal rate or not. This is what we are trying to see. Okay, this is called as the reference group study. So reference group is what? The pool of sites we have. So for example, I have a 4-leg intersection with a signal. So I will collect data from all 4-leg intersections with a signal. This will become my reference group. In this group, I have one site, my own site. Okay, now I will compare my site with the average of the group. Okay, the average of the group. If it is higher, then we will consider that we have a problem. Otherwise, no. Yes, so this type of study is very unlikely because we need to find similar sites, okay, which are exactly the same as my site, okay, and there are many other factors which can influence the conflicts, okay, such as the weather conditions, for example. So data may not be reliable. You are trying to compare between different sites which are not in this, which may not be in the same condition, okay, but this is one of the methods. Okay, so you can see some conflict groups, some reference groups here. Okay, this data is from which reference group? Signalize. Entry volume more than. Okay, so this is one reference group. In this reference group, these types of conflicts are happening in this rate. So the mean is given, the variance is given. Conflicts per hour, conflicts per day. So this is the rate of conflict I was talking about. Okay, so you took the total for let's say 5 hours, then you will do the total upon 5. Okay, so what is the mean and the variance?